Hi there, guys. Yeah, I'm at an interesting place, I think. It's an old place. Again, I think often, um, well, I especially myself, but I think a lot of us are drawn to old places, places that connect us with the past, some kind of history, something that's meant to us before, or perhaps it's not even anything personal, but it's some kind of a connection to past humanity. Um, yeah, something that connects us to the line of humans going back. Yeah, I think that's why history is so important, and I think a reason why a lot of us really enjoy history, um, just for that specific connection. But this is a very mysterious place. Uh, it's a very old cemetery, a forgotten cemetery, or at least mostly forgotten. There are people that still come and visit and still perhaps know um, people that are buried here and have a direct connection, I think, to this cemetery through family or something like that, or perhaps um, knowing some family that has a connection here. It has a strange past, of course, like a lot of cemeteries and a lot of old places, even at all. There's stories of hauntings and mysterious things going around, and mysterious things happening, ghost sightings and those kind of things. And I think that intrigues a lot of us. We're drawn to mysterious places, drawn to mystery, and especially when it's connected to a place or site of history. And so this here is one of those sites that kind of draws on our human imagination and our love of the sense of mystery, I think. This is a cemetery from the mid 19th century, early and mid 19th century. So yeah, for around here, it's for European history, it's a quite old place. Of course, there are sites here that go long past European history here, back into the ancient days, and those are interesting sites too. But this is for a modern European history. This is an interesting place and a pretty early place for that. This is not any kind of connection to the native peoples that were here before the Europeans came in and colonized the states. So, but as far as European history, and then it became U.S. territory. This is an early site. So the tree behind me here is believed to have been a place where, and I don't remember the whole story, but the important thing is a woman hung herself here over 100 years ago in this tree. This is a very old tree on this site. And so she's believed to haunt this hillside cemetery here, and kind of the surrounding areas, and people have reported to have seen her and been affected by her ghost and the sightings, and she's done several things. And before she died, there's a whole story that goes along behind it, but before she died, she, I guess you could say, prophesied or lent a curse or something that the small town here, the small village, which is Lafayette, would burn to the ground 3 times after she had passed. And so far in the history of the village has burned to the ground twice, just about completely burned to the ground. So the residents here are aware of that, and so they're awaiting a 3rd time for the village here to burn to the ground. So I don't know. I don't know if we believe those things, or you believe those things, or who believes those things. But that's the story that goes along with this tree here, and the woman that hung herself in this tree and prophesied that about the village here. So that's a cemetery here. Other than that, it's pretty dilapidated and mostly forgotten. A lot of the stones are tipped over, have been neglected. The grounds have been somewhat forgotten and neglected here, but it's a place that people still like to come, I think, and especially take photos. And I think it's forbidden to be here at night. It has been closed for nighttime, because I think people used to come up here and mess with the gravestones, the grave sites, or the fences or whatever. And I think they want to try to keep it together as much as they possibly can. Let me try and light my pipe again. Which reminds me, I also came here, of course, to talk to you about tobacco. But before I do that, I wanted to talk to you about another mystery. So speaking of mysteries, about a year or so ago, Kyle, the pipe professor, contacted me and asked if I would participate in a mystery review of pipe tobacco. So he would send me a lot of tobacco with little baggies, one for each month, and then I would smoke that a little bit of tobacco, and then I'd fill out a form and do a kind of a quick review, send it in to him. And then I think Derek Tant also participated last year, and Kyle. So us 3 would send in a tobacco review, and then on his blog he would piece it together, and none of us knew, including Kyle, what the tobacco was that he was wanting us to review. And so we would all send that in, and then he would compile it all and put it on his blog. He has a blog called Pipe Professor, and I think I'll put a link down to that so you can get to it, because I'm not sure that Kyle still has his YouTube videos up and going any longer. I'm not sure what he's going to do with that, but his blog is very interesting to read. It's not only the mystery reviews that are done, but they're also um, other reviews that he does, and other discussions, and some articles that he writes, and things like that. And so he has this blog that he puts together, and it's very interesting to read. So I'll put a link down in the bucket to that, so you can look that up if you want, and check it out. I think you'd enjoy it. But anyways, so that was last year. He put this thing together with us three. Then he contacted me after that was over the summer. He contacted me and asked if I would like to do it again. And so he, I think he compiled, I think there's 6 other pipe smokers included in this round. And so he started up again. I think we did a November and a December mystery tobacco review. So his wife goes into his cellar and pulls out these tobaccos, so she knows what they are, and then labels them for each month. And then in block, she sends those out, and each of us get a package with these baggies that are labeled for each month. And so that each month we would smoke one of those tobaccos and fill out one of the forms and send it back to him. And then we get to see what everybody's thoughts are on these tobaccos that we don't know what they are. Of course, we can see the tobacco and smell the tobacco, and that's part of the review is, what are our instincts about them without seeing a label and seeing and really knowing what they are. And that's kind of the challenge, is just pulling out just what the tobacco says to us, not knowing, who made the tobacco or where it came from or anything like that. So it's quite a mystery, and it's a very interesting way to do a review. And so then all 6 of us, they compile it all back, and then he puts it all together, and then on his blog he will retype what all of us have written out in a format, and then he will reveal on his blog what the tobacco is, and then you can see everyone's comparison, everyone's thoughts, and how close we got, or how far we were, or what each person distinctly got out of the tobacco that the others didn't, or if there were many things in common. So I think that's a very interesting way to do a review. Of course, there's some, I guess perhaps there might be a drawback to doing a review like that, but it's still, I think, a pretty interesting experiment, I guess you could say, to see how you can just taste the tobacco just having just the raw tobacco and no other information to go on. So I just wanted to let you guys know about that in case you're interested in seeing a reading, on Kyle's blog, the mystery reviews. I think Derek Tant is doing it again. I could be wrong about that, and Kyle is, and I am, and I'm not sure about the other 3 pipe smokers that are involved, but perhaps I'll find that out later. I can go look and see when the first review is out. I don't think November is out quite yet, but it should be soon. Anyways, that's that about the place here and the mystery reviews. But we have one more mystery to talk about, and that's what I should be smoking here while I'm talking. Let me light up again, and then I'll show you what this is, because that's what you're waiting for. So this is the Solani. It's a Sweet Mystery. It's one of their aromatics. It's the blend 113 Solani Sweet Mystery. So there's a 100 gram tin. I think you can get in the 50 gram tin too. So it's an aromatic, as I said. It's topped with a black currant and kind of a cocoa rum. It says Bacardi rum, but somewhat chocolate, somewhat cocoa tasting, kind of a rum. And then, like I said, the black currant. And I think when you smoke it, that's really what you're going to get is the black currant. But let me show you the tobacco, then I'll tell you about it a little bit. So it's a coarse cut. Let me see if I can show you that. Yeah, it's a kind of a large coarse cut tobacco. So they say in here they have bright Virginias, sweet red Virginias, and then a Virginia flake. And then the dark part that they put in is, and that adds to even more sweetness, is a sweet Cavendish. But you can see, not sure if you saw when I showed you that, but you can see pieces of the flake in here. There's these little pieces. Not sure if you can quite see that, but there's a good amount of flake pieces in this tobacco. So it's quite an interesting looking tobacco, and a good tasting tobacco too. It is a heavy aromatic, and you're really going to get the sweetness, the kind of the sweet, fruity, berry flavor coming through. I think the rum and the chocolate are very subtle and just kind of piggyback, I think, on the black currant. I think that's really out in front here. So if you're really into the good berry kind of flavor tobacco, this is a good one. It's a little on the tart side, but it still has enough sweetness because of the vanilla, the black Cavendish in there, and all of the Virginias add to the sweetness. So it's not one of those berry tobaccos that are overly tart, and but there is some tartness in there. But with all the Virginias and the other topping and the black Cavendish, it has a fair amount of sweetness in it. So it's a very pleasant smoke. It doesn't leave a lingering flavor in your mouth really at all. It's just very smooth. It is very creamy. There is an essence of a creamy chocolate part to it, and I think that kind of finishes it off. I think you're hit with the black currant and the berry sense, but I think it's really finished off and smoothed off with a chocolate vanilla soft note at the end, and I think that's what you're left with. So your mouth feels feels nice afterwards. It doesn't have that real tart tang sting in your mouth at all. Your mouth can sense and feel the smooth and creaminess at the end as you're smoking it. So good tobacco if you're into the aromatics. If you're not into the aromatics, there's plenty of others, I think. But if you really like an aromatic that's really Virginia based and really want to taste the sweetness of Virginias, and not just one Virginia, but different Virginias that kind of come in and out as you smoke it, I think you really like this. This is really a Virginia aromatic. The black Cavendish is there just, I think, for that, just to soften off the tartness and the sweetness of the Virginias and the currant topping. Yeah, so it's very, I would say, Virginia forward, but softened by the black Cavendish. So if you're really into the Virginias and you like a little bit of aromatic, or perhaps many people would say a lot of aromatic, I don't think it's overpowering myself. I think the balance of sweetness and creaminess is really good in this tobacco. I think there's a really good quality tobacco. It's done by Kohlhaas and Kopp, so the quality is there. The quality of the Virginias you can taste. The quality of the tobacco is there. It burns well, it packs well, it's easy to handle, and if you're not talking, it smokes well. So yeah, I think it's a really good and worthwhile tobacco to try. I don't hear much about this tobacco. Their naturals and their other tobaccos kind of take front stage often, I think. But if you want to try a Solani aromatic, I think this is a good one to try. Like I said, if that kind of profile fits your taste, I think you should check it out. But I think that's enough for now. Enough mystery, I think. At least enough mystery for one day. So, hope you guys are well. Hope you guys are enjoying your midwinter, or some kind of winter wherever you are. It's been very mild here in Portland. By the way, this cemetery is it's about a half an hour drive southwest of Portland. So we're outside of Portland a little ways. Yeah, in the landscape, beautiful out here. Farmlands, lots of vineyards. So it's kind of a wine country surrounding, and there's some hills, but it flattens out in the big valley here. So it's very beautiful, and we've had very mild winter, no snow, really hardly even any frost at all. So, but it could come still. We'll have to wait and see. But today is cool and gray. Yeah, kind of a typical gray Portland day. Portland is known for its gray weather. I'm also an oil painter, and so there's also a color, a tube color of paint called Portland gray, because it's so gray here, and so they took that name and named the paint color Portland gray. But I don't mind. I don't mind the gray at all. It's still pleasant weather for me. Anyways, guys, hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying your pipes. Hope you're enjoying some good tobacco, good smokes, and hope you're well. Hope you had a good holiday season. And enjoying the rest of this winter and looking forward to spring. So you guys take care and be well.